And I love to tell the story. We're making a film now called Broker Zero. It's a fictional story. It's about a broker in the South Tower of the Twin Towers who sees the North Tower go down, and he has a choice: stay and trade options profitably, or flee. Now, what got me thinking about this story is that after the events, we know from the 9/11 report that in Alex Brown and Sons accounts, which was bought by Deutsche Bank, and I used to work at Alex Brown. I know Rosie Krongard. I met him a few times. I then worked at the CIA. That there was $2 million left in a Alex Brown account, never collected. And that's Broker Zero. That's the guy who chose to trade instead of flee. He died a rich man for market fundamentalism. He's a Wall Street jihadi. He's a Goldman Sachs Taliban. So that's a film we're making. It's a fictional film written and directed by Stacey Herbert. Stacey Herbert! I do want to mention that Stacey Herbert actually writes all of our shows, the Keiser Report shows. Yeah. She writes and directs and edits all of our films. And so if you like the, she's a one-woman wrecking crew. So I wanted to, how long have we been up here? I don't know, a few minutes. Let's see, I have my little notebook of notes, which I have out there somewhere. I think Stacey has it in her knapsack, that white book of a few clippings. So I like to just clip stuff out of the newspaper, because people who believe, it's not a conspiracy, let's say this. It's not a conspiracy. It's all in the newspaper. So if you look in the newspaper, you find everything you need to know. The Financial Times is still a pretty good paper. So I'll just go over a few of these. Or here's something from the Wall Street Journal in 2005, which you can find online. It's a great story. It's called Lessons from the Brain-Damaged Investor. Now, what this editorial from the Wall Street Journal explains is that people who have slight brain damage make excellent money managers because they lack empathy. Empathy is the enemy of performance. If you care about your fellow human being, you suck as a money manager. If you care about the consequences of your actions, you'll never get a job at Goldman Sachs. If you have any empathetic tendency whatsoever, you'll never get a job at JP Morgan. Because people with slight brain damage are preferable. And this is, you see the generation of this after generation. The people now working on Wall Street are basically, they have that kind of messianic vision. They all kind of look like Tony Blair, don't they? Got that kind of wonky eye, and they're on a mission. And but now they're being replaced by robots. And it was interesting today that I was just reading that Foxconn, the biggest computer manufacturer in China for Apple, they're going to replace something like 5,000 of their workers with robots. So the trend of wages, and as I was saying before I came up here, it's amazing. People don't, they don't get it. Like when you go to Walmart and you save 20 cents on buying, a broom or something, you lose 40 cents in wages. Net, you're losing money. But you see, you'd have to think beyond, that bong pipe at home. Beyond that flat screen TV, beyond that Twinkie, which you just don't have that kind of foresightedness, unfortunately. Because if you did, people wouldn't shop at Walmart because it's suicide. Now, getting back to the Greece situation, this is just some great headlines. Rumors heat up. Goldman Sachs, John Paulson are waging attacks on Greece. This was before the big collapse. It's all written up in the mainstream press. Scrutiny of Goldman Sachs' role in the Greek debt crisis intensifies. We know that before Greece joined the euro, Goldman Sachs flew down there and instructed them and taught them how to avoid the Maastricht Treaty requirements by hiding massive amounts of debt. They then go and join the euro. Now they're in the ring with Germany. Oh, and 10 years later, they're getting wiped out by Germany. Gee, who would have thought of that? So Goldman makes money on the fraud to get them into the euro. They make money on the fraud trading all the euros and trading and sucking them into huge Olympic contracts, etc. And now they're making massive amounts of money on their destruction. So they're really a full-service firm, I guess you could say.
You have the microphone. Can you start over?
Yeah, sure.
Go ahead.
So, how's my? Can people hear me?
Yeah.
Oh, fucking microphone. All right. So, here's a good one. No, we'll do the mic. I'll do some Q&A, I guess, and we'll do the mic then. Okay. So here's Here's a good one. The Citigroup trader faces inquiry over Greek debt rumors. So here's a blatant example of false rumors being circulated at Citigroup to create volatility to profit from chaos in the market. That is horrible for the Greek people. And yet it's great for Citigroup, so it's seen as great for the economy. It's great because Citigroup, because they're, their lords, our master, what's good for them must be great for us. And the fact that they're, spreading false rumors to create volatility, to trade off that volatility, and the people now suffering austerity measures, well, they're the losers. I read The Fountainhead. I read Atlas Shrugged. This is the way it works, right? There's winners and losers. I mean, they don't have enough brain damage to succeed in this economy. So here's, I mentioned Tony Blair earlier. This is an interesting story you may or may not have gotten on to. Tony Blair, when he was serving as Prime Minister in number 10 Downing Street in London. And there was a huge problem because BAE, British Aerospace, was caught in a huge slush fund deal with Prince Bandar and the folks over there in Saudi Arabia. And the Serious Fraud Office launched an investigation. A judge in the UK, Judge Patel, okayed it for prosecution. Prince Bandar went to number 10 Downing Street and to a sitting Prime Minister said, if you don't call off this investigation into our slush fund, I cannot guarantee that another 7/7 like bus bombing won't happen again in London. This is in the Financial Times, fully documented. He used those words exactly. There was outrage for a couple of days, totally forgotten.
What was the name of the article again?
It's Prince Bandar, Tony Blair, slush fund, BAE. It was a story for about a week. There's a lot of they weren't very, the Serious Fraud Office, they totally let that go. The regulators are obviously asleep at the switch. The SEC covers the Bernie Madoff fraud. They got letters several times from folks detailing the nature of that fraud, never followed up on it. The regulators are kept purposefully, like mushrooms, right? They kept in the dark and they feed them shit, right? That's the regulatory agencies in Britain and America and around the world. Here we go. I'm just going to cover some good ones here. Oh, here's the Greek Prime Minister is saying that the rating agencies are running our lives, which is true. I mean, the rating agencies, Moody's, S&P, and Fitch, if you think about their roles in the last couple of years, they were completely late in downgrading this paper. Then when the crisis begins, they come in late and they pile on to the situation. They're making it worse. They're totally conflicted. They work for the people who they're supposed to be regulating. It's a total racket between rating agencies, investment banks, fund managers, the press, CNBC. All these people are basically on part of a racket. And one of the reasons we don't have any good prosecution so far is because nobody's prosecuting this as